The forgotten phone. Emma's heart raced as she stood in the deserted parking garage, the echo of her footsteps bouncing off the concrete walls. She cursed herself for working late again. The last rays of daylight had already slipped away, leaving only the dim, flickering fluorescent lights to guide her. Her phone buzzed, vibrating in her pocket. She pulled it out and glanced at the screen. It was a text from an unknown number. "Turn around." A chill ran down her spine. She whipped around, but the garage was empty. She could hear her own breathing, heavy and fast. Her mind raced. Who could be texting her, and why? Her phone buzzed again. "I'm closer than you think." Emma's hands trembled as she clutched the phone. She had no idea who this person was or how they knew she was here. She forced herself to take a deep breath and started walking briskly toward her car, trying to stay calm. Her car was only a few rows away. She could make it. As she reached into her bag for her keys, her phone buzzed a third time. The message read, "Stop." Against her better judgment, she froze. She looked around, her eyes darting from shadow to shadow. The air felt thick, oppressive. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she saw a figure standing just behind a concrete pillar, half hidden in the shadows. "Who are you?" she called out, her voice trembling. No answer. The figure didn't move. Emma's fear turned to anger. She clenched her fists, took a step forward. "What do you want?" The figure stepped into the light. It was a man, his face partially obscured by a hood. He held up a phone, and in the dim light, Emma could see that it was hers, her old phone, the one she had lost months ago. "How did you get that?" she demanded, her voice echoing in the empty garage. The man smirked. "You should be more careful with your things, Emma." She backed away, her mind racing. How did he know her name? What did he want with her phone? She glanced at her car. It was so close. If she could just get there. The man took a step forward, and she turned and ran. She fumbled with her keys, her hands shaking, as she reached her car. She could hear footsteps behind her, growing faster. She pressed the unlock button and threw herself into the driver's seat, slamming the door behind her. Her hands shook as she tried to start the car. The engine roared to life, and she locked the doors just as the man reached her window. He pounded on the glass, his face twisted in anger. Emma put the car in gear and sped out of the garage, her heart pounding in her chest. She didn't stop until she was miles away, in the safety of her own driveway. She sat there for a moment, trying to catch her breath. Her phone buzzed again. She picked it up, dreading what she might see. The message read, "This isn't over, Emma." With shaking hands, she turned off her phone and hurried inside, locking the door behind her. She knew she had to go to the police, but deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that this nightmare was far from over. Emma couldn't sleep that night. Every creak of the house and whisper of the wind seemed amplified, sending her heart racing. She replayed the events over and over in her mind, trying to piece together who the man was and what he wanted with her old phone. Morning finally came, and she decided she couldn't wait any longer. She had to go to the police. At the station, she recounted her story to a skeptical officer. He nodded, took notes, but seemed unconvinced. "We'll look into it," he said, handing her a card with his contact information. "In the meantime, stay vigilant and let us know if anything else happens." Feeling both relieved and frustrated, Emma left the station. As she walked to her car, her phone buzzed again. She hesitated, her fingers trembling as she unlocked it. Another message from the unknown number. "Miss me." Panic surged through her. How could he know she was at the police station? She looked around, but saw no one suspicious. She quickly got into her car and drove straight to her best friend Lisa's house. She needed to talk to someone she trusted. Lisa opened the door, her eyes widening with concern as she saw Emma's pale face. "Emma, what's wrong?" Emma explained everything, showing Lisa the texts. Lisa's face grew serious. "This is insane. We need to figure out who this guy is. Let's go through your old phone and see if there's anything that might give us a clue." They sat at the kitchen table, the old phone between them. It still had some battery left, so they powered it on and started scrolling through the contents. Photos, contacts, old messages. It all seemed normal until Emma noticed something odd. There was a hidden folder she didn't remember creating. With a mix of curiosity and dread, she opened the folder. Inside were hundreds of photos of her, taken without her knowledge. At work, at home, in public places. Some were recent, others from months ago. Emma's blood ran cold. Whoever this was had been following her for a long time. Lisa gasped. "We need to go back to the police. They have to take this seriously now." Emma agreed, but before they could move, her phone buzzed again. Another message. "Nice to see you both." Emma and Lisa's heads snapped up. They ran to the windows, scanning the street outside. A dark car was parked across the road. The man in the hood was inside, watching them. Fear turned to determination. "I'm not going to let him control my life," Emma said, her voice firm. "Let's get to the station, now." They bolted out of the house and into Emma's car. As they sped towards the police station, the dark car followed at a distance. Emma's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, her knuckles white. She glanced at Lisa. "Call the police. Tell them we're being followed." Lisa dialed the number, explaining the situation frantically. The dispatcher assured them that officers would meet them at the station. When they arrived, police cars were waiting. The dark car pulled up a block away, its driver hesitating as officers approached. Emma and Lisa rushed inside, where the same skeptical officer from before now looked alarmed. "We have evidence," Emma said, handing over her old phone. "Photos, messages. He's been stalking me for months." The officer's expression hardened as he reviewed the photos. "We'll handle this. You're safe now." Outside, officers surrounded the dark car. The man in the hood was pulled out and handcuffed. As he was led away, he turned to look at Emma, a chilling smile on his face. "This isn't over," he mouthed. But for the first time in days, Emma felt a glimmer of hope. She had taken control of her life back. And whatever came next, she knew she wouldn't face it alone. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more.